Our friend Howard Beck asked Warriors coach Steve Kerr how the Warriors will manage Steph Curry's workload this upcoming season. Here is what Kerr had to say on Howard's podcast.
There's going to be games this year where I'm going to be dying to bring Steph back in, right away when he goes to the bench because things aren't going well. But we can't do that. We can't run him into the ground. We've got to think long term.
Zach, I asked Steph a little bit about this last week, and he said, look, I'm not playing the full 48 minutes. We're going to be smart. But he also sounded like he's interested in revving up that MVP kind of season again.
Well, he could win the MVP. He could win the scoring title. I mean, his numbers without KD and Clay the last few years have been ridiculous. Mm-hmm. By the way, the team has been good in those minutes, too. Can they load manage him? Not like the Raptors did with Kawhi. They don't have that kind of margin for error. But if you're talking about let's see how good we can be playing him 32 minutes a game, 33 minutes a game, whatever it is, and handing a lot of the creative burden to D'Angelo Russell, like that's why he's here, I think that's a reasonable way to approach the season.
I definitely think they can load manage because to me they have nothing to prove.
Mm-hmm.
If they're the scary eight seed in the history if they get into the playoffs at 8 seed. So I definitely think they're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be trying to be a top 1 or 2, 3 seed. To me, it's consistency. It's keeping your core healthy for when Clay comes back so they can make that push post All-Star break. But like Zach said, I definitely see Steph having a tremendous year. The Steph we, grew in love when he was MVP a few years ago. And then, Draymond is going to have a big year as well, And then, so like I said, plugging these guys in, they're a veteran-driven team. Knocking Steph's minutes down and resting him games, I think will be all right because they're not fighting for a top 3 seed. They're just going to get in the playoffs and hopefully be healthy at that time and contend.
Now, I talked to Draymond after he signed that very large contract over the summer, and he just looked down the barrel of the camera and said, I am going to be in shape all season. You are going to see me playing the way you did in the Western Conference Finals this past year. He feels that is his new normal, that he's sort of his body. You get older, right? Your body changes, that he went through a little bit of that with injuries last year, and that he now knows how to play and be at that weight and be at that kind of fight for the whole season. That will certainly help, as you say, with D'Angelo Russell there. He's going to attract defensive attention. But people are going to go at Steph, right?
They're going to go at Steph. But, I've seen Draymond a lot this summer, and he's in shape, and he is ready, and he's motivated. And I think the organization as a whole is motivated with KD's departure. And, how they're trying to play KD's words and Steph's words right now and Coach Kerr's words. So I think these guys are just excited to get back out there. They still have the band together, the original 3. Clay will be back probably All-Star break, if not a little sooner. Hopefully a little later, in my opinion. But like I said, they have nothing to prove during the regular season. They know this is a marathon, not a sprint, and they will be there, at the end.
I think that's the toughest question about them and Draymond's physical shape is part of it, is this team's been to 5 finals in a row. They're coming off 3 seasons in which they did not have to care about the regular season at all. They could just loaf through every game and still beat people or still get the number 1 seed, whatever. And now they're in a position where those 2 guys got to bring it every game. I mean, every minute, every game they're on the floor, they got to be on their A game because they don't have margin for error. They don't have a lot of, let's say, proven NBA players. They're going to have to play a lot of unproven guys. And as good as those 2 guys are, that's a heavy, heavy burden.
It is, but I would argue that the physical heavy burden is sometimes lighter than the mental heavy burden that they carried especially last 2 or 3 years. Because yes, they could physically loaf through a lot of games. There was so much grind and so much pressure and so much combustible ingredients and stuff going on inside and outside the locker room. And you said you've been around those guys this summer. Just a little much
energy. It's a different energy.
They feel so
They
different.
love the position they're in right now.
For
the first time, it's not, all the talk and expected the finals, and people have almost counted them out. You know what I mean? So outside of not having Clay for, majority of the season, these guys are going to become ready to play. It's another good, solid system where younger, unproven guys can kind of find their niche and roles. I like the signing that Chris they just picked up. He's another young, strong, athletic, stretch 4 guy that can catch lobs. So they're going to blend these guys in. The margin for error is definitely gone, but they still have enough talent and experience to get them in the playoffs, and that's all they care about right now.
Absolutely. They're going to be really interesting and fun to watch during the regular season, and that's a fun thing to be able to say as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.